Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. And today we're gonna look at my winter eyeshadow palette collection and ranking. So I've gathered all my winter themed or winter inspired palette, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about them, show you the color stories, and rank them, which ones I like the most and which ones I like the least. So I hope that is something that interests you. Also, if you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love makeup. I love especially indie brands. I love colorful makeup, as you can see. And today I'm actually wearing two palettes that I'm gonna be mentioning, and it's the Lunar Beauty Siren Sunset and the Christmas Eve palette by Oden's Eye. So hope you're gonna enjoy this video, and let me know which palette is your favorite for the winter season. Okay, so I've picked 10 palettes that I think either have Christmas color story or Christmas theming to the cover art and all that, or winter color story and winter cover art. So it's kind of mainly it's gonna be color story thing. I have some palettes that are also like winter theme, Christmas theme, and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And as I said, it's gonna be 10 palettes, and we're starting at number 10. I love this palette. It's definitely not that it's a bad palette. This is the Oden's Eye and Annette Oberstadt the Giant Wolves palette, but it's kind of old, and the formula, it's still okay. I still use it, but I definitely have better formula nowadays. But this is how she looks like, and I love that you have kind of this like very wintry, like deep blues and purples with this really nice vibrant blue. It's a very like night sky, like winter night, especially with this goldy goldy shimmer or like inner corner. So that's why I have it here. And also the greens, I feel like green is very commonly associated with Christmas and stuff, so I feel like this color story is great. I love the shadows here. I love that there's a matte black, and I feel like even the cover art and everything, it just kind of speaks winter to me. So this one is number 10. These two shades give me a little bit of trouble, as well as these two, so that's why it's number 10. But I love the blues and I love the greens, so you can't get this one anymore, but I will be using it hopefully quite a bit, and I just wanna have her in the winter collection. Also, this shade Desolate, it's like it's like a foresty green color, so you know you have kind of the Christmas tree and stuff represented. So for me, this is a very nice winter color story and winter palette, and if you have her, I would definitely recommend using her. Then I have again Oden's Eye, and this is the mini Earth palette. This is mostly because it has these green colors that are very like Christmas tree. You have this kind of icy green color, or like pistachio green, and you have some purples. This kind of silvery purple, it reminds me like Christmas ornaments, and also like night sky or something like that. So again, I just really like it. It's a nice companion palette to the Giant Wolves. And this one, I love the color story, I love the formula, but it's a small palette, so I couldn't put it anywhere higher because I can pretty much only do like couple looks with this. It's not as versatile as bigger palettes because there's only a few shades. but I think this is a really nice kind of deeper winter palette that I very much enjoy. And again, you can't get this one anymore, I think, but if it ever comes back in stock and you like greens, get her. She's amazing. So that's the Earth palette at number 9. Then number 8, I didn't know if I'm gonna put the Lunar Beauty palette here. I hoped that I would put the Christmas Wonderland palette, but I don't have her. I've been waiting to film this video, hopefully, in hopes that I will get her, but the postal office apparently lost it. It hasn't moved in like 2 weeks, so I'm probably not gonna get her until like January or later. So I decided to put the Siren Sunset here from Lunar Beauty. I've already filmed a 4-look review with this. I also the video that you saw, or like the intro that you saw, I was using this palette. So I've used it 5 times, and I really like the formula, especially the mattes. I think the mattes are amazing. The shimmers are very smooth, they don't crease. I would love them to be a little bit more shiny, a little bit more metallic, but they're really nice on the eyes, and as I said, they don't crease. And I love the blues, I love the pinky purples that shift green. I like these two. This one is a very like goldy, Christmassy color in my opinion. It's very like warm and beautiful. You have the greens here, so I feel like you have a lot of Christmassy color stories, and you have some like grayish colors as well, which for me that's more like a winter colors. Or I definitely, if I go for silvery or grayish shades, it's usually in winter. So I think this is nice. If you wanna, I'm gonna link the review of this if you wanna hear more thoughts about it. But so far I'm quite impressed. I don't need the neutral shades, but otherwise I think it's a nice palette that you can use on the daily. And I think you can create some very nice like easygoing or like everyday wearable looks. I know that maybe for some people this is very colorful, but for me, I would wear this palette when I just want a quick, easy look, and I have to be somewhere, and I don't wanna look completely crazy, per usual, and I wanna look a little bit more sophisticated, maybe. The only thing I've found out, I've actually filmed the intro yesterday, is that this shade Deep Sea, it layers okay on the shade Ariel, and I think I've tried it with other shades as well. I just don't remember. I think I've tried it also with these purples, and you could layer this and like it would be a nice deepening shade. But because it's so vibrant, I found out that yesterday I was using it with the Christmas Eve palette by Oden's Eye, and the matte formula from Oden's Eye is a little bit more creamy. And when I tried to layer this on the creamy lighter blue shade from the Christmas Eve palette, it was very patchy and it didn't want it to stick at certain areas of my eyelid. So with this formula, I think you can layer this on top of any shade. But if you're gonna mix it with other palettes, maybe this shade and also maybe this shade, because they are more like vibrant, I would use them first and then put the other shades, because I don't know if it's gonna work with every formula. I know that on top of the Oden's Eye formula it didn't work, but also it could have been an off day, so I'm definitely gonna have to test these shades with different palettes and see if it was only like yesterday, maybe I wasn't lucky, or maybe like there was some problem with my eyelids, which can happen. You can have some like skin issues, or if it was the formula. So I'm definitely gonna test it more. But I really like the formula. I like the options that you have here, like the this kind of like seafoamy color with the purples, with the blue, with these more like berry shades with the brownie greens. It's gonna look great as well. These two shades, the Water Nymph and the Alluring, there's something about them that really like, I just really want to pair them together. It's like berry color with the iridescent greenish shade. Because like for Christmas colors, I feel like green and red are very common. So you have like cold green and or like cool green and a berry color. Also, these two would look amazing. You have a lot of combinations. I was actually surprised when I swatched this palette how many combinations I could actually come up with. So you're definitely gonna see quite a bit of looks with this one. And yeah, I think especially the weather that is out right now when I'm filming this, which is like, it's been snowing for the past like 2 weeks and it's been cold as hell. But so I don't know if sirens are something that I'm thinking about lately. I think I would need a palette with like Jack Frost or somebody, but nonetheless, it's beautiful and it kind of fits. And you also have the neutral options if you are a more neutral lover and you just want to like spice it up a little bit, then you can just like maybe have the one of the shimmer shades on the lids and pair it with the neutrally shades. You can do quite a lot with this palette, especially if you like colors and neutral shades together. I think this will be great for you. Then a palette that definitely needs to be in my winter collection. I've actually been dying to use this palette more because lately I've been doing a lot of the autumn looks and like summer looks, and I was, even though I love these colors, I was kind of excited to dive into these like more deeper colors and jewel tones, such as these from the Short Cosmetics Moonfall palette. I feel like this is a perfect winter palette and also Christmas palette. You have the like reddish colors, green colors, but you have also like the blues and purples. So I feel like this is a perfect winter palette. The only thing why it's lower on the number 7 spot is it's a smaller palette. Unless I do like a cool tone green look with one of these shimmers or like the purple look, I can't really, well, first of all, I don't have inner corner highlight here, and sometimes I also like to use a little bit lighter matte in the beginning of the eye, but that wouldn't be that much of a problem. But I don't have inner corner highlight here. I've tried this shade a couple of times as inner corner, but it's a bit too dark. It's a black based shade, so in the inner corner there's a lot of darkness, and I personally just want a little bit something lighter in the inner corner, so I have to mix it. And also I wish that this was maybe black instead of deep blue. I think on the camera it almost looks black, but it's actually like slightly lighter than what you see. For some reason this shade and this shade look darker on camera. I don't know why, but yeah, so I have to use something with this palette, and I like the formula of Shroud, but it's not my favorite formula. The other palettes that I have underneath, I like the formula a little bit more. I love how extremely sparkly are the shimmers. Like, I'm sorry, but this is so metallic and beautiful. Also, this shade, I think. Yeah, also these two would be perfect Christmas colors. But yeah, they look extremely shiny on the lids, and I love them for it. And they don't crease very much. But the mattes, I think they're slightly more creamy than I love my mattes. It's not that I have problem with it, but I know that the other formulas, I like them slightly more. So that's just the only reason why it's here. Plus the fact that it's a smaller palette, but it's beautiful. It's a nice quality they are nice quality shadows. You have a mirror, which is obviously really nice, and it's nice, it's compact. If you just want a couple of jewel tones, you don't want like a full jewel tone palette, I think this is a nice collection. And this is a magnetic palette, so you can take the shades out and rearrange them, put some of your other favorite shades. So that's that. Then I have the Gourmand Girls and Doodles by the Bunny. This is the Nightshade palette, which came out at the end of summer. And the reason why it's here is I just love the purples and the greens, and you have yellows. I think that's very wintry. Plus you have the grays. Like, I don't know, it's just some of these purples remind me like ornaments, plus these really bright yellows. It's kind of like a Christmas star. Then you have this shade and this shade, which are kind of like foresty greens. You have the deep shades. I've already talked about the purples. You have a nice icy topper that has like a blue sheen to it. So for me, this can be very well used in during winter. I think this is like a winter or kind of more grungy autumnal color story. And I really like these colors. I love Gourmand Girls formula. And also this color story kind of reminds me the Christmas Eve palette from Oden's Eye, and that I think is a perfect winter palette. So yeah, that's why it's here. Definitely recommend this one. She's gorgeous. I love how extremely nice, how easy they are to store. They're very sleek and like easy to carry with you. So if you're traveling somewhere for Christmas, you can definitely have her with you. And I also think that the Nightshade palette would pair really nicely with the Moonfall palette. You would have a really nice color combos. I think I've actually used these two a couple times together, and I think they just work very nicely together. So if you like these color stories, get either one of those. If you like more darker version, then I would get the Moonfall. If you like to go from light to dark, I think this is great because you have mid-tone options, you have lighter options, you have dark options, so both in shimmers and mattes, and you can do a lot. I think I've reviewed this. I've actually reviewed I think most of these palettes except the first two from Oden's Eye. So I'm definitely gonna link my reviews. And I've used this palette multiple times. I think I've used her like 18 times so far, and I've only had her for, I don't know, since like end of August, beginning of September. I'm not really sure when I got her, but I only had her for a couple of months, and she's already been used like 18 times or something. So I quite like her. Then for the fifth spot, I have the Cosmic Brushes Delicious Delights. I thought I'm gonna put the Winter Wonderland, but this is substitute. And the reason why it's here, I know it's a pastel palette, but first of all, some of the shade names are kind of Christmas. You have like whipped cream, gingerbread, buttercream, and stuff like that. So sprinkles, right? That's also something that you use around Christmas. So there are like the shade names kind of match. And then also, I know a lot of people like to do these really pastel-y looks on Christmas, especially like the pastel-y blues with the white, or like the greens with the pinks, or the greens with other shades, or like the gingerbread with the yellow. I feel like that's also very popular around Christmas time. So that's why it's here. First of all, the blues and the purples. Again, that's like winter colors for me. You have these more like cool tone greens that remind me forest. You have the matte white, and I feel like a lot of people who aren't really used to doing colorful looks tend to go for pastel looks if they do like colors for Christmas or for winter. So that's why she's here. I love Cosmic Brushes formula, both the mattes and the shimmers. It's such a great formula. The mattes blend themselves. The shimmers are so nice on the eyes. They're very sparkly, very like, some of them are extremely wet looking. Some of them are really nice, like a metallic formula. I'm gonna swatch a couple. And normally I don't swatch in these collection videos, but today is a lucky day, I guess. So you can see that this one is very metallic. This one is very like wet looking. I think the formulas here are great. The multi-chrome is amazing as well. As you can see, it's very nice and very smooth. I don't have problem with creasing with these shimmer shades, and it's a nice companion palette as well if you want to bring some of these more icy or cooler lighter colors into your looks, then definitely. And also this really nice shade, again it's like a white with blue sheen, kind of iridescent toppery highlighter. So that's why she's here. I think she's great. Also, I eat a lot of sweets during Christmas, and I bake a lot of like sweets and sweet stuff. So I think the delicious delights kind of fit that as well. Love her, love her, love her. Then this might be kind of weird, but I have the Oden's Eye, and in collaboration with Angelica Nyquist, the Little Ghost palette that came out for in the Halloween collection for this autumn season. And this is here because it reminds me the Christmas Eve palette, which I've already talked about, and that's a very Christmassy color story. And you have the blues, the purples. You then have these like warm tones that remind me, like these 4 shades, they remind me like fireplace or just like warmth that I very much seek in the winter times. So I feel like this fits. Also, this is like a Christmas star right on the Christmas tree. Like there's a lot of shades that I can see myself using a lot. This shade is very much like wintry shade, as well as the rest of the blues and stuff. So this one for me works as a winter theme. Also have like reds, so that's Christmassy. And I want to mention this shade, Haunted House. It's very similar to the blue that I mentioned in the Star and Sunset palette, and they act similarly in this in the way that they're not easy to layer. This one isn't very easy to layer even within this palette. The Siren Sunset palette, you can layer it with the shades in the palette. I'm not completely sure how it works with other shades, but this one is hard to layer as it is. So I just want to mention them. They're similar in tone and also when you swatch them. So it's like a similar formula. But yeah, I think this color belongs here. I can see myself using it a lot during winter. And I like that there is a pop of warmth that also kind of works. And I like mixing opposite colors, like on the color wheel, right? Like purples and yellows and stuff like that. And also I like just mixing warm tones and cool tones. So I think this palette has a nice options to have. So that's the Little Ghost. It might be kind of weird, but who cares? Then I have on the spot number 3, I have the Merry Christmas palette from Oden's Eye. I think last year when I was ranking my winter palettes or like Christmas palettes, or was it my eyeshadow palette ranking for last year? It definitely wasn't on this channel. It was on my Instagram, and it was on my older Instagram profile. So I don't know if you will be able to find it, but this was my favorite palette of last year, and probably also in my favorites for Christmas and like winter. Now it's on the third spot because I think I've already mentioned it in the shop my stash for December. I'm not completely feeling these like warmer Christmassy colors. I'm more into the cooler winter colors, but not so much into the Christmassy schemes, so like the greens with the reds. I mean, I still love greens. The greens are my favorite color of eyeshadow, period. But lately I've been more enjoying the blues and the purples and the cooler tones. So I definitely love the greens here, especially like the matcha cookie shade is gorgeous, as well as the Jingle Bell and Elfish. These are exactly the shades that I love in my greens. You have this corner that's like very much like gingerbread, or like some like gingery products or drinks, with the hot cocoa shade, also very Christmassy. So yeah, this is more like a Christmas palette. I think the all of the others and the ones that will come are my like winter palettes. This is the only Christmas palette that I actually wanted to put here. I think I don't really have any other Christmas palettes, and even the palettes that I have that kind of fit this color story, I don't really feel like using them as much right now. Maybe in like spring or summer, autumn, some other season, but right now I'm not really. I feel like there's just so much Christmas decorations everywhere, and like Christmas is everywhere nowadays, that I get really annoyed by it to see it all the time for the past 3 months or how long. So yeah, but I love the formula. I think this palette sold out again, so I don't think you can get her, but if you got her, you're gonna have a lot of great time with her. She's amazing. All of these shades blend really nicely. The only shade that I have problem with is this. The only two shades I have problem with are these two, which is kind of shame because that's exactly the cover art colors, or like the background colors. But I know that some people said that they liked these shades, that there came out okay, so maybe it's just a formula issue. But the neutrally shades, the greens, both cool toned and warm tones, they're stunning. Love this formula. I had such a great time with it last year, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun time with it this year as well, I hope. So that's the Merry Christmas palette. Then I have the Gothic palette from Cosmic Brushes. Can you tell that I love that? Can you tell that I love their formula? So the Gothic, it's a smaller version. I think it's the only times that they did this smaller size for palettes, and I hope that they're gonna bring it back, because I like smaller palettes more than I like bigger palettes, and I think 12 to 16 shades is the perfect size. I think if it's smaller, you're very restricted, and if it's bigger, I get confused. So this is a perfect color story, this is a perfect size. And again, blues, purples, a couple of these more like a cooler grayish colors, and then you have this multi-chrome that's kind of pink to green, or like ready to green color, so kind of Christmassy. But yeah, as I said, I'm more into these tones lately, and I think they're perfect for Christmas, especially if you like more moody, darker options. I love this palette. Again, formula is insanely good. I fell in love with the Cosmic Brushes formula, and I think they're slowly but surely becoming at least as favorite of mine as Oden's Eye, which is my favorite, which has been my favorite indie brand. And I think they're getting there. I'm actually gonna have a really hard time ranking all of my palettes that I've tried this year because Cosmic brushes had really surprised me. I completely get the hype around them. So yeah, love these shades. Again, you have this like icy color, then the shade Wonderful. They're just, they're so pretty. I just really want to use this one all the time. So the Gothic palette is the number 2. And number 1, who is surprised? I think I've mentioned this like a million times already. And it's the Christmas Eve palette by Oden's Eye. I've been really enjoying these colors, especially like the cooler tones, the blues, the purples, the grays. And I love, again, mixing it with the yellows. I love these yellows. I wore them last weekend. Love them. You have a couple of these like more neutrally and like warmer colors. And she's just perfect. That's it. She's just perfect. I love that she's not all cool tones and she's not all warm tones. It's a nice mixture of both, and I think Oden's Eye really nailed it with this color story. I think they kind of also... I've been a fan of Oden's Eye for, is it like 2.5 years now? And I first bought something from them last Easter. And I really fell in love with them. But since they came out with this palette, the only other thing that really caught my eye was the Angelica collection, the Halloween bundle. And that's mostly also because it's Angelica and I love her. But I don't know if they're ever gonna be able to top this color story. I genuinely don't. And the funny thing is, when I was buying it last year, I didn't thought this is gonna be my favorite color story because I didn't really like blues that much. I don't think I've ever worn grays before this palette, and I was just slowly getting into purples at that time. So I mostly bought it for these like warm tones, and then I was like, there's a multichrome and I want to try some of these shades. But I genuinely didn't thought she's gonna be this popular for me. But I love her. I genuinely love her. This is the perfect winter color story, and I reached for her not just in winter, but I was reaching for her the whole year. Even though she doesn't have the colors that I wear on a daily basis. For example, the Merry Christmas. Yes, I was reaching for her all year round as well, but I only use the greens because that's my favorite color for eyeshadows. But if it didn't have greens, I wouldn't even touch her probably this whole year. But this, even though it has colors that I don't wear as often, I ended up using it a lot, and I feel really creative whenever I use this palette, and it makes me happy to look at this. I think it's just a combination of the yellows with the blues. Something about this makes me so happy, and they really nailed it, and I'm kind of scared that they're not gonna be able to top this. I really hope that they will, but I feel like lately they've been doing more like neutrally, they've been leaning more to the neutrally side of things, and I'm not really a fan of that. I hope they're gonna do this again. So yeah, those are the 10 palettes that I've picked for the winter season for like December, January, and February. And let me know what you think about these. Let me know if some of them surprised you or if you knew that they're gonna be here if you follow me. Let me know what are your winter / Christmassy palettes in your collection and what's your favorite one. I was thinking that I could do just Christmas collection on my Instagram as a reel or maybe on my TikTok, but honestly I only have the 2 Oden's Eye palettes, and then I don't know if anything else in my collection can be really counted as a Christmas palette because I prefer winter over Christmas. I don't really care for most holidays except for maybe like Halloween, but otherwise I'm not really a huge like holiday person, or I don't really celebrate most things and I don't really care for most of these things. So I opted to just do the winter collection. Let me know if you agree with my picks or if you think that some of these palettes shouldn't be here. I'm gonna I like to hear your thoughts about these, and you will definitely see me using all of them in my Get Ready With Me's on my Instagram and on my TikTok. So if you want to see them in action, definitely check me out on these other social media platforms. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you're enjoying this season, and I will be very happy to see you again tomorrow, actually. So have a great day and bye.